2021/2022 looks to be the busiest international signing period, at least from a Cuban prospect perspective, yet. A record number of young Cuban ballplayers, many much younger than previous generations, will look to sign with MLB organizations. This most likely begins January 15th, 2022. Check out some of my previous videos for in-depth looks at a few players that missed this list, either because they rank lower or didn't qualify at the time of publication. The number of eligible players seems to grow weekly. This is best exemplified by the large number of departures during June's Olympic qualifier and September's U-23 Baseball Cup in Mexico. None of those players make the list, although a few would slot in well, but also figure to still sign near the top of this year's market. First, a caveat that most of these players are still teenagers and had limited to no exposure in Cuba's top leagues or levels. Thus, I have not had first-hand access or captured unique media. However, I hope my extensive history on the island, knowledge, and perspective still qualify me to speak on the subject. Coming in at the number 24 spot, 16-year-old shortstop standing 6'1" and weighing 190 pounds. Yendry Rojas from Ciego to Avila. Yendry is hoping to follow older brother Kendry, who is a left-handed pitcher in the Jays system, to the pros. 18-year-old Kendry put up sparkling numbers in the Florida Coast League in 2021. In 23.2 innings pitched, he had a nice 2.28 ERA and a dazzling 0.80 whip, walking 5 and K'ing 39. He can be found as Yendry Yoelvis Rojas Fis on Instagram. The two are the nephews of longtime Cuban star and my acquaintance Yoelvis Fis. He had this to say about the young shortstop, translated from Spanish. Shortstop is a tough path to the top in an organization with Fernando Tatis Jr. Yendry is very young, and third base might be a better path. The most important thing is for him to play as much as possible, which he loves to do. Yendry is drawing comparisons to Yoan Moncada with a tantalizing mix of power and speed. This might be more in that there are doubts he is long for short and might move to second or third as Moncada did. Others have said he has Javi Baez vibes, but this appears to lean more to the raw power portion than the magic glove of El Mago. Speculation also exists that his future is in a corner outfield spot, perhaps giving him more in common, at least in path, with Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Rumors and Yendry's Instagram indicate he has an agreement with the San Diego Padres. Ciego de Avila most recently has produced MLBers Adolis Garcia and Luis Robert. Is Yendry the next in line? He grades out on a 60 scale with a hit tool of 55, power of 55, run of 50, field of 55 for an aggregate of 55. Dyan Jorge is another 17-year-old shortstop prospect. He's 6'2" and a lithe 165 pounds, is considered a glove-first shortstop. He has drawn comparisons to Alexei Ramirez. Jorge was originally expected to sign with the Rockies in January of 2021 for $2.8 million, but that deal has yet come to fruition. His Instagram does show him decked out in Rockies gear, and he does tag the team in his bio. Does this point to a deal still being inked in the Mile High City? Most do believe so. As per Jorge's MLB.com video, he's described as a line drive hitting shortstop and an above-average defender. Yusuf Diaz of Pelota Cubana reported that the youngster set a blazing 6.3 seconds in the 60-yard dash. This is rarefied air for a 16-year-old and perhaps points to his best skill. He grades out with a hit tool of 50, power of 40, run at 60, arm 50, field 55, and an aggregate of 55 out of 60. Lazaro Montes comes in at number 8. The 6'4", 205-pound lefty is considered a corner outfielder and first baseman, and is rumored to have a deal in place with Seattle. As per Ben Badler, Montes trains in the Dominican Republic with Aldo Marrero, who also trained Yordan Alvarez when he left Cuba. Like Alvarez, Montes is a physically imposing slugger, still 16 but with plus raw power and good bat speed for a hitter with such a large frame. Montes has a relatively compact swing with good path and leverage that helps him translate that power in games. The bet is on his bat, and speculation is he ends up at first base. It is rare that a first base prospect is ranked this high, as teams usually bet on a collection of broader athletic tools. Does this foretell the legitimacy of Montes' hit tool? He grades out with hit at 50, power at 60, run at 50, arm at 50, field 50, and aggregate 55. Number 5 is the most familiar name in Oscar Colas. I've done full videos on the player called the Cuban Otani by some. The outfield/pitching prospect is said to have a deal in place with the White Sox. Check out my full profile video on him for a complete breakdown. Number 2 overall, and thus the number 1 Cuban prospect as of publishing of this video, is Cristian Vaquero. Reports have the 17-year-old, 6'3", 185-pound center fielder going from Cuba's capital of Havana to the capital of Washington, D.C. The Nationals will apparently lasso the young cowboy, who lists his baseball influences as Ken Griffey Jr. and Mike Trout. The young center fielder has picked the best to emulate, and scouts, at least on a level, think the tools are there to mimic those luminaries. There must be enough meat on the bone to draw such comparisons, and Vaquero is boasted as a 5-tool player with raw ability in spades. He grades out as a 55 hit, 60 power, 55 run, 55 arm, 55 field, and a 55 overall, similar to the other players. This market looks to be chock full of upside Cuban talent. Have your say in the comments which player you think is going to sign for the most, where, and who will have the biggest impact as a part of that signing class. As always, subscribe here on YouTube, smash the like button like a hanging slider, or share this video.